In this video, we're going to explain how to use this free online tool, the Financial Freedom Calculator, using a realistic example to compute not only how much money you need to save in order to have the future lifestyle paid by your passive income, but also a hint of what type of investments you need today to reach that desired future. The first thing you need to go is to open the Financial Freedom Calculator, and for that you need to go to the app.expensesanalyzer.com and click in Try our free Financial Freedom Calculator. Once you are in this web page, you have 4 fields to fill in, and we're going to see a realistic example to see more or less what you need to fill. Of course, you will need to fill it with the data that corresponds to your real case. Let's imagine for a moment, like today you are satisfied with your current lifestyle and you spend today around 30,000 euros per year after taxes, after everything. Now, just for this example, imagine you were paying taxes every year and at the retirement, they will give you some money. Let's assume they're going to give you 2,000 euros per month. So in 12 months, the government is going to give you 24,000 euros, but you still want to have 6,000 euros more to reach those 30,000 to have the lifestyle you want. You would like to cover 6,000 euros from a different source. Let's say that is coming from your passive income. And passive income, we mean here any kind of investment or activity. It could be real estate rentals, for instance. It could be loans you provide and you receive interest on them, but it's not correlated to the hours of work. So you will have this passive income of 6,000 euros per year. That is on today's money. But I want to receive this amount of passive income whenever I'm retired. In this example, you are 45 and you are going to retire at the age of 67. So that will be in 22 years. Depending where you are living, if you receive 6,000 euros a year or whatever amount it is, you will pay taxes on it. You need to put it here. If, for instance, on this example, we live in Germany, then in Germany is 26.375, but because the first 1,000 euros are not paying taxes, the actual rate will be 21.98%. So basically this 26.375% apply only to the 5,000. Please research based on the region where you will be taxed how much you need to pay on the income gains and the capital gains. Now, this is the money that you want today. So the lifestyle as today, you will need 6,000 euros extra paid by passive income. In 22 years, you will not be able to pay as many things, to buy as many things with 6,000 euros, and that is because inflation. So we need to correct this value for what is the equivalent in 22 years. And that is going to be based on the inflation rate. We are going to put something reasonable, at least for Europe, which is 2.5%. Again, make those values corresponding to your case. You may need to have, or you may want to have more money and maybe earlier because your goal is not retirement. That is telling you after 22 years, you will need your passive income to generate 13,000, a little bit more than 13,000 euros per year. That is the money that our interest of the passive income is going to generate. So imagine we invest some money into the stock market, in some ETFs or stocks, and that is providing, for instance, in our example, we are going to base that on the Standard & Poor's, which is a mix of different stocks. And then here, the average return over the years has been 6.5%. That means every year, 100 euros of your investment is going to give you 6.50 euros. But you invest that in a vehicle through a bank or you invest through a platform that is going to get some fees. With some of the current tools like Vanguard, SP500, and you use some of the tools like in Europe, we have a scalable capital that is not getting any interest on that. Basically, you're going to be paying 0.07%, which is a good rate for this type of investment. So basically, this is going to be reducing this number, and we're going to see how much money we need to invest. So this 6.5% minus this 0.07% is going to generate these 13,000 euros. And that means we need to have invested 336,000 euros. In 22 years, we need to reach this amount of money. So now, how do we reach this amount of money to be invested in the vehicle that is giving 6.5%? Well, we will need to save money until then. And what is your current situation? Today, how much money you could have available for an investment? Let's say you have currently 10,000 euros saved, and you can also save 500 euros a month. Every month you put 500 euros into your savings plan in order to reach this amount here in 22 years. And that is going to tell us, okay, if you are doing this consistently over 22 years, you need to put the money in an investment that is going to give you 6.5% in return. And if you see, it's nothing crazy. Maybe you were thinking, oh, 336,000 euros is a lot of money. But if you consistently are able to do this month after month, and you put it in a place that is giving you this interest, like we have said before, the Standard & Poor's 500, then you will have put at the end this amount of money. That will be your savings, like the initial 10,000 plus the 500 euros you put monthly. So you put quite some money after 22 years. But the good thing is, because you had this return, and that return is compounding, this interest is more than doubling your money. Disclaimer, here we are not giving you any advice or where to invest. The SP500 is just an example that is widely used, and these values are based on historical data. It doesn't mean in the future they're going to be exactly like this. It could be more, but it could be less. So there is also risk here. Now, there is one final aspect that is important to discuss. It looks like I can invest from the beginning in the SP500, but you have different type of vehicles, and sometimes this one is money that you are never going to touch. You put the money in and you don't take it out, but at the end you want an investment like every year is going to give you dividends. So for this one you don't pay taxes until you take it out. But if you want to get dividends, you probably will need to move the full amount of money, this money, from one vehicle, that it could be the Standard & Poor's cumulative, to Standard & Poor's that gives dividends. So you need to put the money in your bank, and then you need to put it back into the other investment vehicle. And that means you will need to pay taxes. And we have seen before, the tax rate in our example for capital gains is more than 26%, so then we recompute. And that means in order to be able to pay the taxes, we need not 6.5%, but 7.85%. And that means maybe our Standard & Poor's was not as good as expected. So then we can already have in mind, is like, okay, either we keep the money longer and we keep investing and we keep working more, or I can make somehow more money here. Otherwise, I will not reach in 22 years the amount needed. But is totally feasible. Now, what happens if you live in a country where you don't have any pension and you want to receive the 30,000 euros, and I'm going to pay more taxes because it's more money. I'm going to reduce the numbers, and I see I need now more than 1.5 million. And in order to get there, and also including the final taxes, you see I need almost 18.5% of annual return on my current investments. And that is definitely not going to be given by the traditional funds or ETFs. You need something that is giving you much way return. That could be maybe investment in real estate, your own companies. If you want to learn more about investment, about setting companies, about getting higher salaries, please make sure you subscribe with the link you will find in the description. Here you can find the link of another video that is going to tell you how to set up a money management system to automatically save the money and hopefully invest it in where you want in order to reach your target. Last but not least, notice something I appreciate a lot, at least for now. The financial freedom calculator is totally free, no cost. It's online, so it doesn't require any installation, and it doesn't collect any of your private data. You don't need even to introduce an email to receive the result. So take advantage and explore your investment options.